Idia, Iyoba of Africa by Akuba. Look very carefully, for I am she. My visage has been gazed on from numerous museum pedestals all over the world. It has been widely reproduced on commemorative trays, cups, plates, jewelry, ebony, brass plaques, and on textiles, Indian madras labels, wax designs, cotton prints, and t-shirts, and more. Ha 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 ha! My face is immortalized in the 16th century ivory mask, presently in the British Museum. It became even more famous when the Nigerian military government chose it as an emblem for the second Black Festival of Arts and Culture, known as Festac 77, hosted by Nigeria in 1977. The late Oba Akenzuwa II, then reigning Oba of Benin, broke the impasse by commissioning the Ibesuwan Ivory Carvers Guild to produce two replicas of the Idia mask that had been looted by British soldiers of the 1897 Punitive Expeditionary Force. The fine workmanship of the replicas established that modern Benin ivory carvers are consummate artists. You hear that? As were their forebearers, and like the latter, responded with pride and reverence to the royal commission. Look closely at the mask of me. You cannot fail to see two parallel vertical striations, vertical marks running down my forehead. Iron and copper inserts were embedded in these cavities in the original model and formed part of the decoration. This is a story of how Idia acquired these marks and why. More than 500 years ago in ancient Benin, there lived this beautiful and shrewd woman known as Idia, of Edo descent, who was born in Yugudugu in the Egwe region of Isi. The exact date of her birth remains a mystery to modern-day scholars, but as the mother of Oba Elsigi, who reigned from 1504 to 1550, we know she was alive during the Uda War. Now, not much is known of her childhood, but through an initial encounter Idia had with the Oba Ozuluwa during a dance performance in the capital of Benin, she managed to substantially alter Benin's dynastic history, as well as define its course of history. Drawn to Idia's striking beauty, Oba Ozuluwa said, I am going to have this beautiful woman. I'm going to marry her. By all means, she is mine. He watched her move swiftly with grace like a bird of prey. But rather than ensnare him with her seductive charm, she would be his Majesty's catch. Oba did not speak to her directly or anyone else other than through his griot and linguist, Edihen. Now, this was not part of the royal protocol, whose ancestry descended directly from the sky gods, the Ogesos. This Oba's subjects around him regarded him as a deity, as he did himself. I am God. I came from the sky. My ancestors were Ogesos. I am God. He simply sent word to Idia's parents via his entrusted advisor that he would initiate the marriage process for Idia to become his third wife. Yes, she will be my wife soon, oh. And this was an order, not a request. With the initiation of the marriage in progress, Idia's parents knew she would become an Oba's wife. Life under an Oba is not easy, oh, now. You will have some power, my dear daughter, but it is a big, big responsibility. We have to consult the oracle, our fetish priest, who can advise on the best course of action to take. Come, Idia, quick, get ready. Me and Papa, we are taking you to see the oracle now. As Idia and her parents sat humbly and patiently while the priest prayed by his shrine and poured libation and then walked away around 3 times. He walked around 3 times. He eventually gave them the answers neither parents nor child were expecting. I will season and cook Idia's face to prepare her for a future life. I will mark both sides of your face, Idia. I'm going to make you ready for the Oba. Unmoved, Idia asked, Wise elder, would this mean our Oba will be put off from marrying me? Will he be repelled by my scarred visage? Oba is God. A marked face will not put him off from marrying you, my dear daughter. What Oba seeks, Oba wants, Oba gets. But your face will be cut deep on both sides. And inside each groove, I will insert a powerful medicine which will touch your inner soul. You will be blessed with power like no other woman in Benin history. And apart from Oba Ozuloa, all men will fear you, and future sons will revere you. This preparation will strengthen you to cope with whatever challenges palace life would throw at you in the future. Above all, your Udugudu family and your own personal line will be fortified forever. The process of cooking Idia's face was like nothing she had ever experienced before. Idia would never scream so loud until then. Not even in childbirth, in years to come following marriage to Oba Ozulua, would she ever scream like that. The seeds of diplomacy, political shrewdness, fearless of warfare, and magical prowess had clearly been sown through the deep inscription Idia acquired on her face on that fateful day. So Oba Ozuluwa and Idia were married, and just as the oracle predicted, Oba was in no way repelled by the marks on her face. Indeed, they seemed to strangely bewitch him to her. In time, Idia gave birth to a son, Osawe, who was supposed to be third in line to the throne instead of second place. Orarian Udubo, the son of Olua Ohunmi, had been born earlier in the day before Osawe. Yet Osawe's birth was officially announced to the Oba before Ohunmi's son, because the other child did not cry first, thus enabling him to claim second place. By the time Udugbo cried to enable the mother to report his birth, the Oba had performed the proclamation rites of Osawe as first son. So while growing up, Udugbo was very bitter indeed about his treatment. On more than one occasion, he would ask his mother, "Is my father truly my father, to be so careless as to take away my birthright in such a mean fashion?" Then, by another bizarre turn of fate, Osowe, or shall we say Esigi, Idia is said to have used a potent potion laced with a burning substance, and drawing on the spirits, she prayed to her ancestors, "Remove, Great Spirit, any human barrier that stands in the way of my son's ascension to the Obership." Well, well, well. Poor Odogobo fractured his leg in a competition with his two brothers, Ariarion and Asigi, and became a disabled young man, Egaveba 25th. Although this tragedy was represented as an unfortunate mishap, a case of children competing against each other, many at the time saw Idia's hand behind it. In the palace, as wife of the Oba, Idia became rather connected with all key players and powerful figures in Oba Ozuluwa's Iri, that's royal wives' residence, including the palace officials, some who came from her mother's district. With the first European travelers, the Portuguese, reaching Benin in 1485, a strong mercantile relationship developed, a trading relationship including the trading of tropical products and increasingly the enslavement of Africans. Apart from continuously relying on her magical powers, Idia exercised military skill and expertise. It was Elsigi's possible lack of combat experience, the result of having to attend the school of Portuguese missionaries, rather than join his father in fighting wars. That explains why Idia had to lead an army to war to ensure that Benin soldiers fought valiantly against the Uda army. Idia used her practice of the occult to her and her son's advantage. Idia came to the palace fortified with the medicinal knowledge and powerful magical powers. As her war dress for the 1515 to 1560 battle indicated, According to the royal bards, on her head was a distinctive coral war crown peculiar only to her. Oba Ozuluwa died in 1504, and his death left the throne open to his two sons, Ororian, who controlled the city of Uda, and Elsigi, who controlled Benin. The brothers were at war with one another over inheriting the throne. Idia used her magical powers to help. She wanted to use her magical powers to help, but there was a problem. By right, as a custom of the royal Benin, the mothers of the kings would be beheaded to prevent them from threatening the kingdom by using their magical powers to either initiate a rebellion or take over the throne or harm the people in some way through the use of witchcraft. Esigi addressed the people of Benin, the Edo people. Please, I beg you, my people, please spare my mother. She will help us win the war against the Uda. Please, I beg you, spare my mother. In the palace, I beg you, spare my mother. Let my mother live so she can help me defeat my brother and save my kingdom. They agreed to let the Oba establish Idia as Queen Mother only if he was to never see his mother again. It should come as no surprise at all that Idia used her magical powers to help Esigi win a war against his brother and also the neighboring Igala people who wished to take advantage of the Benin kingdom's state of weakness and attack them. Esigi stuck to his promise and eliminated direct contact between himself and his mother Idia. And by the same token, she was made Queen Mother and began a legacy where she and future Queen Mothers would live in her palace outside. She lived in her palace, her own palace, outside the capital city in a village known as Uselu. This is why Iyoba Idia, as she became known as the womb of Ohu, because she gave birth to a son who, although was chronologically third in line to the throne, he ended up becoming Oba of Benin dramatically. It was a womb that defied all odds, halted the killing, the femicide of mothers of Oba, and radically transformed the Benin Empire. So there you have it. Look closely at my face. I am Idia, Iyoba of Africa.